Good afternoon, Nigeria, West Africa, Europe. Good morning, the United States of America. Good day to all of you, wherever you may be on the planet Earth. My name is Hakeem Tijani, and I'm the moderator and the organizer of this important occasion, celebrating an icon, a benefactor, and the person that we have come to identify as the Abinga of world-class learning and education in Sub-Saharan Africa. That is in the person of Professor Adamu Abubakar Gwarzo. We're celebrating today the man that personally I have never met. Personally, the panelists that I put together in the last 3 days, I've never met. Sincerely speaking, I have no clue that his birthday was on January the 1st, 2024. That is the truth. But I want to appreciate the panelists that trust me in view of what we have done in the past and what we are doing. And they did their ethnographical method of research in the last 3 days to say, okay, Professor Tijani, who is this person you want us to celebrate and devote, our time, research, and what have you? And they got back to me and said, well, we are in it, we will do it. Professor Adamu Abubakar Gwarzo is somebody that I have not met personally, and none of the panelists have met personally. But the thing is that you do not have to meet somebody physically for you to celebrate that person. And I'll tell you a short story before we move on. In the last 4 days, today is the 4th, since his birthday on the 1st of January, and then requesting for my friendship on Facebook, I accepted, and I started checking him out, and I said, wow, there are more to what I did not even see when I led the NUC accreditation to Maryam Abacha American University, Kano, sometimes in early November 2023. I've met with the Vice Chancellor, with the VP of Admin, with Professor Haruna, with some of the staff, but they have no clue about this webinar until 2 days ago. The person we're celebrating did not know about this until yesterday. That is how we wanted to keep it, as secret as possible. And that is my own way of practicalizing what I called biographical pedagogical discourse. That is, the study of men and women will help us in our transformation agenda, be it economics, be it science. But when we study those that have come before us and those that are presently, impacting our society, we will be better informed. And that is exactly what gave back to this. First week in November, I received a call followed by an email or a text message from Mrs. Mary Ojochukwu Enojo, an NUC rep, that, oh, Prof, you will be leading an NUC, accreditation committee to Maryam Abacha American University of Nigeria. And I will be accompanied by Professor Adefemi Isumola from UI. And there are other accreditation exercises for other disciplines. And I told the young lady, I said, look, I am not in Nigeria. How do you expect me to get to Kano and, accomplish this? And, I wasn't shocked about her response. And he said, oh, Prof, we know you now. You're always sacrificing. And I say, it's God, it's not me. Let's see what I can do. Long story short, I went online and I was shocked to see what I was seeing through the website about Mahun, that is Maryam Abacha University of Nigeria. And I checked the one in Niger, Republic of Niger. I said, wow, is this real? Can this be real? Am I seeing the right building? Because I knew when I sacrificed to return to Nigeria between 2011 and 2019 and served as a founding, a pioneer deputy vice chancellor at Adeleke University. We did not start that way. We have a modest building, but today they have a huge. So long story short, I bought my ticket and returned to Abuja. And from Abuja, the panel we met. And then when we got on ground, we look at ourselves. That is Mrs. Mary Enojo, the NUC rep, Professor Isumola from UI, myself, and other accreditors from for other disciplines. And then somebody said, "Are we in Nigeria?" And I said, I wanted to ask that question. That am I in Nigeria? What I was seeing, I said, wow, who is doing this? And at that point, I developed interest. So for those of you that might be asking the question, why? I have not met, neither as those panelists that I was able to put together in the last 3 days, met with the founder and the president of the Gwarzo Foundation and 4 institutions in Nigeria today. Well, part of my own personal research was to discover that it was also engaged in impacting the community and the downtrodden. And I can relate with that based on my own trajectory of not even thinking about finishing primary school, but today, by God's grace, a professor, a former this, a pioneer that in the academic. So we are celebrating him today. But more importantly is the world class that we discovered as part of this month's trajectory and impact in the global community. What is world class about him? We discovered that he reached out to even as far as Uganda, to Togo, to Ghana, and different parts of Africa, Nigeria, in his benevolence towards humanity. And I'm so proud of that. So putting together today are the panelists made up of women and men that have volunteered to be part of this. They have engaged in ethnographic methodology to present what they know, what they have seen about the man that we are celebrating, Professor Adamu Abubakar. And the program we hope for will be about an hour or an hour 30 minutes. I will stop now and introduce to you, if we have in the audience, I think I saw him a few minutes ago, Dr. Abdullahi Sufi. If we have Dr. Samira Azan, we have Dr. Habib Awais. These 3 colleagues will speak to us for 2 minutes before I formally introduce the panelists that are also here. I've made them co-host, the panelists, because 1 or 2 or 3 have a PowerPoint to speak to between 5 to 7 minutes. And then we'll take question and answer. And then we have a closing remarks by the Vice Chancellor and President of Franco-British International University. And then a closing remark by Professor Isumola, if he's with us, as well as the Vice Chancellor of Maryam Abacha University of Nigeria, Kano, in that order. So may I please ask Dr. Sufi to kindly tell us about the benevolence of this iconic gentleman of our time, Professor Adamu Abubakar Gwarzo. You can unmute, sir, if you are in the virtual.
Hello. So
Go ahead.
good day, everyone. Hello.
Go ahead, sir.
Yeah. So thank you very much, sir, for giving me this opportunity. As the director of the foundation, I'm going to be very brief. Even though I actually have a presentation which will be shared because I put on a slide presentation for that.
Okay.
But however,
let me make you a co-host.
Hello.
I will make you a co-host so that you can share. You are a co-host, so you can share now.
Okay.
And by the way, this is being recorded, and for those of us that would like to see it on Facebook and YouTube, you also can,
I
live
think
stream. Go ahead, Dr. Sufi.
I think it will be good to be recorded because of history, sir.
We are recording.
Hello. Hello, sir.
Yes, sir. We are recording. You can go ahead. You have
okay, excellent. So I find it very difficult to from the computer but I can speak over it. Then the slides can be shared. I share it to Dr. Habib.
Okay.
Okay. So I think anytime I speak about Professor Gwarzo, what comes to my mind is what we are seeing, the success in his philanthropic life is actually born with. Of course, we know the and is a businessman with humanitarian heart. Now, in the foundation, some of the things that actually he uses, he used academic prowess, but with profound sense of philanthropy. Especially, he's been a beacon of demonstrating the education passion can be powerful catalyst for change. We have also seen, a lot of remarkable aspect of Professor's philosophy in terms of his global reach with his own heart, and then he reached down to the grassroots, and then with his simplicity and his influence. So some of the things that the foundation was able to achieve include empowering the vulnerables, including people in the internally displaced persons, working with the sickle cell members, and across Africa, because we work in Niger, we work in Nigeria, we work in Katsina, and many others, including training young ladies on the skills acquisition program. And then in terms of health, several outreach were conducted, including eye care outreach, donation of ambulances to universities. And in terms of the sustainable development goals and education, most of these IDPs children and other poor people were supported with educational materials, encouraging for supporting the children, including construction of the over 24 classrooms in one of the community, took less of the scholarship of over 1,400, students, training people on SDGs. We are engaged in climate change, and it's all go community-driven, empowering women, providing boreholes, empowering women with 30,000, which is about 90,000 today. And then he donated a lot of, luxurious buses that will carry more than 60 people to about 7 different universities across Africa, including private university, supporting orphanages in Kano and Nigeria. And he didn't stop there to sustain the development. He also encouraged and strengthened and support through the foundation, even the students. Some of the students are now even creating their own NGOs, working in the community and empowering, and also supporting, some of the organizations who are working on education through proposal writing and all that. So the next step I want to share for us for this year, we want to be seeing participation in promoting the AAG Foundation innovative result-oriented driven initiatives at the international and development conferences, including UNGA, United Nations General Assembly, to partner with local international NGOs to do a lot of intervention in humanitarian activities and support and strengthen government and community for human angle-driven programs. Champion the promotion of SDGs and African Union agenda, because we notice African Union agenda is so silenced to almost all stakeholders in Africa. So we want to take it to make it well. For example, we trained journalists recently, and we're going to train more people. We'll be training accelerated leadership, innovation, problem solving for leaders and other stakeholders. And we are hoping to establish Africa Foundation Forum first in Africa, where foundations in Africa will be coming together, sharing knowledge, sharing experience. So all these, innovative ideas, support, and all that were actually headed by Professor Adamu Abubakar Gwarzo. So for me, Professor Adamu Abubakar Gwarzo, even though I have some experience in development, but he actually shaped me. And like you always said, he wants more people like him to come around from his own state, Kano State, and up to the global level. So he's a champion in terms of, he even changed the narratives of foundations, because we have new foundations that emerge because of this foundation. So for me, the foundation that he works to intervene is all as him, because even the Maun Maradi that happens in 2013 were actually part of his innovative foundation passion that gives the idea, and he really cares about education and health, giving them a priority: peace, youth, innovation, strengthening capacity, and all that. So because it's 2 minutes, I'd like to stop here. I just feel like I introduced Professor Adamu Abubakar Gwarzo Foundation work, what he does in brief. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. If you don't mind, kindly show your face. Let's just be on the TEDx so that we have in case we run into you at the
Oh
yeah.
yeah, sorry,
Yeah. So thank you very much for that.
I forgot to show my face. Okay.
Yeah, beautiful rendition of the foundation and the man behind the foundation. That again, for the record, not myself, not the panelists, we've never met him. We just saw what that he's doing. Some of us were fortunate to be NUC accreditors to the institution in Kano, and that is what part this seminar. We're celebrating someone that is imparting all of us. And I can tell you, sir, that the panelists that we put together within the last two days, I've done what I call ethnographical method of research. That is finding out whether or not they want to be part of it. And they go back to me and say, yes, yes, we will stop all that we're doing and be part of this. The number of attendees will grow because I have that faith and I believe in all these panelists. I want to thank you, sir, for this introduction. Let's move on quickly to Dr. Samira Azan. She's a faculty at MAAUN. They call it the acronym as MAUN. 2 minutes or maybe 1 minute. She will be speaking about the founder and the community in Kano. Because we look at the local and the global. That is what makes world-class education. Thank you.
I welcome every participant in this high-impact educational webinar abroad, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to give this remark. By way of introduction, I'm Samira Hassan Muhammad, a faculty member with specialty and specialism in English language teaching in Maryam Abacha, American University of Nigeria. Without much ado, I cannot be more delighted to remark on this topic, Adamu Gwarzo, international and world-class education in Sub-Saharan Africa. For me, Professor Adamu Gwarzo is a pathfinder in the 21st century educational vision of Africa. He's a trailblazer in edupreneurship in Africa. If you look at Africa from the educational periscope, besides the systemic qualitative challenges, there are also shortcomings when it comes to, quantity of universities in the continent at large. So a close examination by Quartz Africa of the top 10 most populous countries in Africa as sorry about that. There are also shortcomings when it comes to the quantity of universities in the continent. Close examination of Quartz Africa of the 10 most populous countries in Africa in 2017 shows just over 740 universities serving some 660 million of Africa's 1 billion people then. But compare that figure with countries like United States, which has some 5,300 universities and colleges, shows that, which has shows serving the population of about 322 million people. We are still alarmingly far behind. So Nigeria, Africa's most populous nation, has 262 universities, 52 federal universities, 62 state universities, and 147 private universities. This is appallingly inadequate for our ever-increasing population indices. So this, as Harvard's Carlos Juma wrote in Quart Africa, there is need for the creation of innovation universities who are dedicated to solving problems in the country. So this is what Professor Adamu Abubakar Gwarzo is doing. Adamu Gwarzo is building innovation universities. In a few years, our students will create cutting-edge technological innovations to contribute to the digital advancement of humanity at large. So I am optimistic that that will happen. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Samira Avan. We really appreciate your submission, and we are so educated. I'll move on quickly to the Vice President for Administration, Dr. Habib Awais, to give us his perspective on the global administrative model at MAUUN, as well as the other institution. There are 4 of them right now, founded by the celebrant, the man that we're celebrating today. Okay. Go ahead, Dr. Awais. Is he still with us? I think we lost Dr. Awais.
Yes, can you hear me?
Oh, we can hear you, sir. Okay, I was looking for your face.
Okay, thank you so much for coming with this initiative to celebrate our founder and president of these 4 novel institutions. When you talk about administrative model that is being practiced here in Maun, I want you to remember that the founder, President Maun Group of Universities, has a PhD in higher education administration. And it's not a surprise that he has been able to replicate his wealth of experience in this area. I can rightly say that Maun has an excellent administrative model, and it is so unique in the sense that it involves the management of the university system, which strictly observe the global standard practices of any reputable organization. This is not a surprise, because the founder has an international experience which he garnered as a result of his wealth of experience across Europe, Africa, Asia, and the rest of the world. And you know, we are all aware that the administration of education system has to do with human and material resources. And of course, as a result, there are so many factors that came into play here. For example, here at Maun, we have been able to replicate and come up with a strategic planning, management of the school operations, training, the use of digital technology, as well as employee motivation. These are some of the administrative features and qualities that are adequately being demonstrated here. And another important model or issue to be so much concerned with here is that Maun as an institution, like several other organizations, operate under extreme pressure, and we are subjected to having so many variables. Therefore, I can rightly say that here at Maun, the leadership system focuses on education of the students, developing curricula, implementing assessments, as well as constant supervision and planning. Similarly, Maun administrative model, I can rightly say that it focuses on really on instructional best practices. This kind of practice is required for a successful and sustainable education system across the world. In a nutshell, I will say that Maun administrative framework is functional. It has a robust planning, organization, directing, controlling, as well as usable structure, which really, you know, help in the infacting and in the learning, teaching and learning process. Because of the good administrative management here we have at Maun, it is always easy to create and implement more efficient processes. Therefore, I can say that this ensures proper utilization of both the human and material resources that we have at the university. So I want to say thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to comment on the global administrative model that is obtained here at Mount. Thank you, Prof.
Thank you very much, Dr. Awais, the VP of Administration. And let us move speedily. And the next item on the agenda is to introduce our panelists. We have 6 of them, or 5 rather, don't let me count myself, 5 panelists that have agreed to speak about what they have come up with in the last 48 hours that I requested of them to kindly be part of this celebration. But the idea of world-class institution is not new to all of us. We can see in recent times, in the last 48 hours, what the Honorable Minister of Education, Professor Tahi Maman, and his team has done to sanitize the tertiary institutions, particularly along the west coast of Africa, in view of the so many unspeakable events going on in our neighboring countries in West Africa. And I think that is an indication of practical drive to validate what some of us are doing and what the celebrant of today's webinar is actually doing. We've listened to the VP of Administration, we've listened to the foundation, we've listened to a faculty at Mount, and then in the next few minutes, we'll be listening to distinguished colleagues from different parts of the world, institutions, with nothing less than an average of 25 years in the academia amongst them. But before I say that, let me also reiterate the reason, the rationale to answer the question of why, how we are doing this. Apart from the fact that some of us went on accreditation to my own, and then we saw the reality. We were wowed, as we say in America, and we never forget. And then on the 1st of January, the celebrant was marking, his 46th anniversary on this art. And I said, wait a minute, let me do more research. And we did not inform him until yesterday of this event. But sometimes ago in 2015, my humble self has presented an inaugural, which of course I should have presented if we have that system in America, but because I returned to Nigeria in 2011, I have to do it. And the title has to do with world-class institution. So looking at the reality of the biographical pedagogical discourse of Professor Adamu Abubakar Gwarzo, I went back to that inaugural and I began to look at some of the summation in 2015 that fit into what it's doing and even surpass some of the advocacy as at that time. I have 5 that I identify that I want to speak to. 1, we must have a sustainable research and innovation partnerships, both on campus and outside campus. And I believe one of the panelists will expatiate on that. the recent grant to an initiative, innovative research hub for higher education is a testimony on the part of Professor Gwarzo. Number two is the idea of accessibility, and student success. Again, our colleagues from Mahon has indicated that that is the goal of not just the founder, but all the employees of Mahon, which is, fit into the metrics set without knowing them way back in 2015. Sustainable teaching and development. Teaching to retool the old teachers, teachings to energize the new teachers, and teaching so that learning will occur, as we say in education. We that went on accreditation, we witnessed that. We called the students on the side, we spoke to them, and they validated, how teaching is being done and the relationship between teachers and the students, particularly in a world-class environment where the research is not limited to the professor, but also student-professor collaboration. More importantly is the infrastructural development, and peace and inclusion. Why am I inputting peace? Because you can have all the best infrastructure in the world. When there is no peace and you do not teach peace in a way that it is practicable, as the SPSP, that is the Society for Peace and the Practice, has admonished us, the way the Mahon student that I met and Professor Adefemi Usumola that was with me, as well as that NUC rep last year on their campus, saw through interaction with the students, then it will be a facade, having such infrastructure. But the infrastructure that was also projected while the VP was talking, it is real. We saw it. And that is part of the reason why we chose to do this. Last but not the least is the fact that a world-class institution must embrace inclusion. The old traditional archaic idea of it is just about the quote-unquote academics is no longer tenable, because the people we call non-academic are degree holders. They have PhDs, they have masters, they have bachelors. So it is about teaching and non-teaching. So when you embrace teaching and non-teaching on your campus, you will have engaged in inclusive pedagogy of administration that we also witness that the celebrant of today, Professor Adamu Gwarzo, also initiated. And on this note, I will introduce my panelists. I want to especially thank them within the last 48 hours for agreeing, for believing and trusting me that I will not lead them to, I wouldn't say border of Cameroon and Nigeria, because it's not safe right now. On the first list, we have Dr. Ifeanyi Amadu, who is a chief lecturer at the Federal Polytechnic, Bauchi, born in the North, a pastor, a woman of valor, but more importantly, a computer mathematics scientist. Join me to welcome Ifeanyi Amadu, who is currently running up a PhD at Morgan State University as a TED Fund sponsored scholar. Dr. Madu, you have 5 minutes.
Okay, hi everyone.
Hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, we can hear you.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, from my side, good morning. And then I'm sure it's evening in Nigeria, and good to see all the great minds. It's actually a privilege to come, speak on this occasion. When Prof sent me the message, I smiled. Why did I smile? Because this is him, because by the time I went through reading about Professor Gwarzo, I said, now this is Prof's kind of a person. Why am I saying it? Most of us came for this exchange program, which is Internationalization of Education, was a brainchild of the Prof. Passed through TED Fund, and most of us, like 70-something of us, are here in the US because of this reason. He wants education to be not in Nigeria, not in West Africa, to be international. Let's have different perspectives. And that's exactly what I noticed in Prof. Gwarzo. I'm sure that's what caught his attention. And I readily agreed because the Prof's achievements, his interests, it's something else. I love the North. I'm not from the North, but I've lived in the North, for so many years. And I actually love the Northerners. Most people that know me know that. Why? Because they are peaceful people. Yes, we have some issues, but they are very peaceful people. And they are loving people. That's the truth. I have all my children in the North. And I've lectured there for well over 2 decades. So what am I trying to say? Professor Gwarzo now brought home Prof's idea. Let education not be in-house. Let's reach out. Let's go out. How do we do it? In our case, he approached TED Fund. And I'm here today, like he said, rounding up a PhD under TED Fund sponsorship. And you find out that this Prof is also into scholarships. He's giving scholarships. I mean, there's a university in Maryam Abacha University in Niger. There's one in Kano. Then there's a Franco-British University in Kaduna. I mean, I keep wondering, one human being, how is he doing this? And then the man in his foundation said it's not just about education. He's also into healthcare. Indeed, this man is worthy to be celebrated. I don't know about you, but I think he deserves ovation. In fact, I clap for him from here because, I mean, if you can, please put your hands together for Professor Gwarzo. He's worthy to be celebrated. And then I read something about his vision. He said his vision is to see every Northerner attend tertiary institution by 2040. Now, this is huge. And I'm excited particularly because if this region can be educated, Nigeria will be great. Why am I saying it? I've taught students from that region. They are very good. In fact, a good student from the North is 100% student. I'm telling you the truth. They really don't have a lot of average. It's either they are very good or they are not good. So which means if every Northerner can attend tertiary institution by 2040 from Professor Gwarzo's vision, Nigeria will be set to take over the whole world. I tell you the truth. Because the best brains everywhere in the countries of the world, if you check it, has a Nigerian input. So today, I just want to appreciate Professor Tijani for bringing us together to celebrate an icon. Because Private universities, as I know it, is about profit making. But I don't think Professor Gwarzo is all about that, because if you could establish all of this, have all of these scholarships, then how is he making this profit? So he's actually giving back to humanity. Now, what does that make us? When education can move beyond barriers, do you know the problem we have in our country, which basically is about tribalism, will go? Because, I mean, I'm from the East, but I don't look at the Northerner as a different man from me. Why? Because I've lived with them. And what had brought me there? Education. So what Professor Gwarzo is doing is not just helping humanity, but more, he's bringing peace. And no nation can move forward without peace. So this morning, from my side of the world in the US, I want to actually salute Professor Gwarzo for what he's doing. Education is beyond knowing how to read and write. It's the ability to live with others, interact with others. For instance, in Morgan, where I'm currently doing my PhD, in my department, Industrial and Computational Mathematics, we have what we call like a potluck, where you bring food from your region. It is actually part of education for Americans to eat Nigerian food, and they love it. That is cultural exchange. That is what education is about. That is what getting a world-class education is about. And Professor Gwarzo is top-notch on it. I mean, I read a lot of things online about him. Like Professor Tijani said, I've never seen him before, don't know anything about him until, he brought him to us. He's going beyond boundary. You cannot truly be educated in your local government. If your education just stops within your state, you're not truly educated. Education is me leaving the East, moving to the North, eating their food, looking at their culture, and then moving out from there, going to the US, bringing what I've known in the US here, and they're seeing my culture, introducing my culture, looking at their curriculum, because I've seen things different from their mode of education, seeing how it will fit to us and how it benefit us. And that is what this prof is big on. And I'm very grateful to God for a man like Professor Gwarzo. And like I said, what is making me, we'll say what is tripping me, what is making me excited is that he's from the North. And it's not common. So we want to join other people to say, happy birthday, Prof Gwarzo. Please don't give up. I'm sure it's not easy. You can't set out to do all this, without opposition. But you have people cheering you by the side. You are doing good, you're doing well. And if by his grace, your vision for every Northerner to attend tertiary institution, which I believe by the grace of God will see the light of day, then you would have put your name in the annals of history. I am so grateful for this opportunity. And once again, I want to thank Professor Tijani for this opportunity to just be part of this team. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ifeanyiwa Madu, a computer scientist, a teacher, and of course, a woman of God. We thank you for your contribution. The next panelist is Professor Abdullahi Musa Ashafa. Professor Ashafa is the immediate past acting Vice Chancellor of Kaduna State University. He is actually in a meeting, but we have a recorded message that we will play in case he's unable to join us before the end of this webinar. While we're working on how we can project that and play it for all of you to hear, we will move on to our next presenter, Professor Ganiat Adeshina Uthman of the National Open University of Nigeria. Professor Ganiat is one of those trailblazers, an energetic woman, the former Dean of Social Sciences at NOUN that transformed and partnered with me when I was at NOUN as a full-time employee and then currently as a visiting professor. She did a lot that I cannot mention. If you want to know more about this economics, the professor of economics, you can Google and then reach out to him. I think Professor Ashafa, I just saw him now. Professor Ashafa, are you here? Can you speak? Professor Ashafa?
Yeah, Prof.
I tell you what, I just introduced you and I was moving to Professor Ghania, but please, we'll listen to you and then we'll come back to
Thank you very much.
Ghania.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for finding the time, getting out of that meeting to join us. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Yeah, let me start by congratulating Dr. Abubakar Gwarzo for his birthday and to also appreciate the fact that you have organized this discussion in order to celebrate the man that needs to be celebrated. And the fact that you have chosen an interesting topic, which to me is very innovative as far as we are concerned, having to discuss issues around our development, our sustainability as academics, celebrating a proprietor, a philanthropist in the person of Dr. Gwarzo, choosing the internationalization and world-class education in Sub-Saharan Africa. To me, this is worth discussing. And as a historian, I would want to begin by observing the fact that universities in Sub-Saharan Africa at independence were few and largely public owned. But in terms of but when you compare them with major universities in the Western world, you find that in terms of curriculum, in terms of the quality of staff and products, there was a very high standard. And though the students were few and the graduates were much sought out in most of these Western universities, but today we have seen the booming of both private and public universities, yet with a kind of a sharp decline, if we may say, in terms of the quality, in terms of the research, as well as in terms of the intellectual output. And by the time we begin to analyze what is happening around our university system, we find that what we call the brain drain was as a result of serious neglect of public universities. And this is where Maun now comes in, and this is where we need to celebrate the person of Dr. Abubakar Gwarzo. By internationalizing his own universities located in Maradi, Niger Republic, though with a campus in Kano. And the internationalization by Maun tries to bring a kind of a life-changing benefits that connects institutions. I know some of the staff, academic staff, are drawn from many universities, as well as the students I know from Nigeria going to Maradi are large, including my spouse. Let me be a bit selfish.
I didn't know that.
She's undergoing a BSc nursing program after graduating from Ahmadu Bello University, and also a staff of the Baraudi Co-Teaching Hospital in Kaduna, which is the Kaduna State University teaching hospital. And we used to discuss a lot about Maun. So in terms of internationalization, I think the university is really connecting the students, the staff, and even the local communities where the university is located. And by providing a kind of a globalized learning environment that gives students a kind of a change from what they know in Nigeria, much that the environment is also culturally adaptive and appealing to most of the students. And when we look at it, Maun is the first English-speaking university in Niger Republic, also the first bilingual university in Sub-Saharan Africa. It's not only been accredited by the Federal Ministry of Education in Nigeria, as well as the National Universities Commission, but it is happy to note that Maun has undergone accreditation by the Accreditation Services for International Schools, Colleges, and Universities of the UK. And therefore, this is worth celebrating and understanding the internationalization efforts by Maun, with 7 schools, with a range of programs, with a flexible admission system that spans about 3 times in 3 quarters, which is able to provide and accommodate a lot of some flexibilities that has to do with, and also proposing this online university education or online courses. And therefore, it's a culturally friendly and adaptive learning environment. Maun, I would say, is a good example of internationalization of quality university education in Sub-Saharan Africa. Looking at the few period, 11 years of its existence. So I would want to say congratulations to Dr. Gwarzo for the birthday. Congratulations for being a proprietor of a university that is providing quality education and services to our youth. But most interestingly is the fact that Maun seems to be youth focused in the sense that the proprietor, Dr. Gwarzo, has a mission of providing, making Maun a center of excellence where youth will be given the right mix of education and knowledge with experience needed for their life to prosper and to enable them meet the challenges of a rapidly changing. So with this kind of vision, and most of Nigerians from my country attending and acquiring knowledge from that universities, I say congratulations, and we are happy to associate with Dr. Gwarzo and Maun. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Ashafa, the immediate past acting Vice Chancellor, Kaduna State University. Is also one of the panelists that I contacted without even knowing his trajectory, in the case of his wife being a student, a nursing student. So interesting. I didn't know this. We thank you, sir, for finding the time despite your very, very tight schedule to be with us.
Thank you very much.
I've told the panelists and other participants that you actually recorded a presentation in case you're unable to get out of that meeting. So we thank you.
Yes. Thank you very much.
And for focusing on one aspect, which is Maryam Abacha University of Nigeria, the Republic of Nigeria. So which was the first in, the many global intervention that this iconic benefactor and being a world-class education and learning, Professor Adamu Abubakar Gwarzo, continue to impact on humanity. So let me call on Professor Iyad Additional, immediate past dean, the Amazon of NOUN and women studies and economics, to present to us slide. Prof, I'll give you 7 minutes.
Okay, Prof. Good afternoon, everyone. And let me start by congratulating the great philanthropist and edupreneur, because what he's doing under economics will classify as edupreneur. Is an educationist and entrepreneur as well. So I want to congratulate Professor Adamu Abubakar Gwarzo on his 46th birthday. And I want to congratulate my able mentor and professor, Professor Hakeem Tijani, for honoring me with this and to be part of this roundtable discussion. Congratulations to our founder of AAG Foundation, who has been a trailblazer. Excuse me, I want to meet this person. Okay. Yes, again, we cannot overemphasize the topic that Professor Tijani has come up with in celebrating our edupreneur, Professor Gwarzo, on internationalization and world-class education in Sub-Saharan Africa. This is because in the last 48 hours that he talked to me, I've been looking around for who is Professor Adamu Abubakar Gwarzo and what is it engaged in? And I find out that this topic cannot be overemphasized, so celebrate him, actually. I'm so honored to be part of this roundtable discussion, and I want to come in. Let me start with a saying of the Prophet of Islam that says that the believers' shade on the day of resurrection will be his charity. And this was created by a great scholar, Tirmidhi. And I also want to remind us and our celebrants about a verse of the Quran, Quran 51, that verse 19, that says, "And in their wealth, there was a right of those who asked and those who could not." And so this tells us that this is the foundation of philanthropic activities, actually, because whatever God has given you, it is not yours. There are some that have rights over that wealth that God have granted to you. Some of them that will ask, and some of them, they will not be able to ask. They couldn't ask, but you have to locate them wherever they are and give to them. So I want to join all of us again and the multitude of people to congratulate him on his birthday and on what he's been doing. And for this man standing with the saying that caring and compassion for one's fellow human beings is an essential component of living, and he has made it part of his own life. He should continue doing this. When you read the Quran or the Bible, you cannot but help to notice a lot of places where God mentioned charity, charity, charity. And in the Quran in particular, there are different forms of charity that we can do, like feeding the poor, the needy, helping the orphans, relatives, the wayfarers, the tourists, spending the way of God. All this allusion to highlight the significance of generosity to humanity. And this is what I've seen in this our amiable scholar and edupreneur. The foundation of philanthropic activities is actually for resource redistribution. Like I said the other time, from the Quranic perspective, whatever you have, there are some that will ask for it from your wealth, some will not ask for it. So this, when you give to them, those who ask and those who do not ask, this is part of redistribution of wealth, which God is actually giving to humanity. And so philanthropic activities advocate for great equity in resource distribution and also encourages us to donate for both individual and social well-being. And I noticed that Professor Adamu have been doing a lot in this respect. The values and practices of philanthropics shows that it has positive effects on civil society and the public spaces. And I've seen a lot of his contribution to public spaces. I noticed that Adamu Abubakar Gwarzo Foundation has donated towards health sector, towards clean water, and towards access to education in particular. This is very, very commendable. Also, when you, as is engaging in these philanthropic activities, it is a way of giving back to the society and reducing poverty, as well as empowering people. Professor Ibrahim Gwarzo antecedent on Maryam Abacha University of Niger, Maryam Abacha University of Nigeria, then Franco-British International University, as well as Canadian University of Nigeria, established just in 2023, are commendable and very worthy of emulation by other philanthropists in Nigeria and in Africa in general. The president, my own group of university, Professor Adamu Abubakar Gwarzo, donated 50 million naira in December to IHERIS University in Togo as part of his contribution towards promotion of learning, research, and development in that university. And it did this in honor of one of us, a Nigerian, I think Emmy also, that was given honorary course or doctorate degree award. So internationalization of education is part of what it's been doing, and I noticed that it's been doing it well, but we cannot overemphasize he's doing it better or more than he has been doing it. Professor Gwarzo currently, recently, in December also, offered scholarship to a foreign student who lost his father in Gaza. This is what we are talking about. When we talk about, you know, he has already established campuses here that attracted international students, international staff, and it's not just giving them, putting food on their table, but also trying to help out, you know, giving back to society in terms of social responsibility. So my own launch Innovation Up also recently, I noticed that part of their achievement, and the achievement actually a trailblazing initiative. Is sponsored, is on the sponsorship of Institute of African Higher Education Research and Innovation, IAHERI. This is part of internationalization that we're talking about. A big lesson in the internationalization of education and its philanthropic activities is that it has its focus on education. And this is not so common anyway, especially in Nigeria here. People would rather just give out money to people instead of giving them, teaching them how to fish, they rather give them fish to eat. And this is not the best way. AAG Foundation has displayed diversity and heterogeneity of charitable practices in many geographical situations, which I've seen in the within Nigeria and also abroad. Because of time factor, I just want to, I wish this will be shared with him. I know he's doing well, but he needs to do more in terms of International Student Office. I know that Prof has been to one of the campuses in Nigeria, and for him to be wow, I wish one day I'll visit that campus. I'm very sure that is bringing America to Nigeria. And this is what we're talking about in terms of internalization of education, and also world-class education. You don't have to get to US, UK, Canada before you get world-class education. You can get it anywhere at any time if philanthropists and entrepreneurs like him continue to do the good work they are doing. And so I want to recommend a kind of, you know, standardization of their international office in any of their campuses, such that priority is given to international students to come, to attract more, will also be given to local students to also attract them. I also want to recommend IIUM as a benchmark for the Abubakar Adamu Gwarzo Foundation, or a group of universities, sorry. I want to recommend them to benchmark against International Islamic University of Malaysia, because when I was there until today, what I noticed, what I find out is that within a single campus, you have over 100 countries being represented, students from over 100 countries in a single campus. I want to see in the next 5 years that AAG Foundation and group of university will also be able to have that record of having at least over 40 or 50 African countries being represented on their campus. This will be a very good one. IUM has been keeping it up since the year 2000 and is keeping it up since, up till I'm talking to you. As an alumni of that university, I know, and I think it's a good, I want such to replicate replicated in Nigeria. Then gender mainstreaming in world-class education delivery and internalization is imperative. So I know he's been doing more for, helping training innovative students, female students or entrepreneurs, but I want him to do more focus on women and girl child education, and then reporting the foundation activities to United Nations, UNESCO, and any other international organization that is necessary is very important. Why do I say this? Recently, in the last, just 2 weeks ago, I delivered a paper on Islamic philanthropists around the world at a conference organized by International Islamic University alumni, Nigeria alumni chapter. And there and then I found out that about 10 most recognized Islamic philanthropists in the world, and none is from African continent. So we want to see him also, and other like him from Nigeria, growing into internationally recognized philanthropist. And I showcase especially Princess Banderi of Saudi Arabia, and also Prince Sheikha Musa of Qatar. And I think they will be good example for him. For example, Sheikha Musa is a member of the UN Secretary General Global Education First Initiatives Steering Committee, and also a member of UNESCO Special Envoy for Basic and Higher Education. It's not about showing off. In Islam, I know as Muslim, you may not want to, you don't want to showcase some things, but it is necessary so that Africa, the world at large, will know what we are doing in Africa, in Nigeria, and we will be able to key into it. Why I said this is because at that conference, there was a discussion on why are we not having anybody from Africa making the top 10 list in the world. And they mentioned to me about the late mother of Alhaji Aliko Dangote, that she was a great philanthropist. Aliko Dangote Foundation is also doing something very important as a philanthropist. But I said, where is their record? Who knows what they are doing? So please, it's very important that AAG Foundation take it further into international level to let the world know what they are doing and how they are doing it and how they are contributing to humanity and to giving back to society. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be part of this roundtable. God bless you, sir. God bless you.
Thank you very much, Professor Ganiya Adeshina Uthman, immediate past Dean of the Faculty of Social Sciences, National Open University of Nigeria. We thank you so much. I can attest to the fact that indeed AAGF is doing quite that. I think the limited time for us to collect ethnographic information is also part of the limitation in our presentation. Also important, I know recently that the celebrant, the person we're celebrating, the Abinga of World-Class Education and Learning, Professor Adamu Abubakar Gwarzo, gave substantial amount of money to Islamic University in Uganda. I know that the UNESCO model is also part of the model within Mahun that I was privileged to have gone with other colleagues on NUC accreditation last year. At this point, let me call on Professor Oladimeji, Lateef Oladimeji, the immediate past Deputy Vice Chancellor at Ikma University. Professor Oladimeji is someone that I have known since our secondary school days. He was actually a year my senior at the secondary school. And we continue to work together. I was fortunate to have led another accreditation, NUC accreditation to that campus, I believe maybe about 3 years ago. And I also discovered that the Baba, the founder of that university, was giving 4-year, I believe, scholarship to those that would study agriculture and agricultural engineering. And of course, that the man was not lettered in the English or the Western, manner, but he has a lot of, a lot of things in terms of philanthropy and what have you. So Professor Oladimeji is also one of those people that I co-opted in the last 48 hours. He has not met, like the panelists and myself, with the person we're celebrating. Just like the person we're celebrating was notified yesterday. So we want to thank you, sir, for joining us. And we want you to make your intervention. Professor Oladimeji, I believe, is also currently the Dean of either Social Sciences or Arts at the same university at ICMA. You have 5 to 7 minutes, sir. Thank you. And you are co-host. If you have a PowerPoint, you can go ahead and share. If not, you speak to your PowerPoint on the issue of Abubakar Adamu Gwarzo, internationalization and world-class education in Sub-Saharan Africa, marking the 46th anniversary of ethnic scholar and philanthropist. Professor Oladimeji.
Thank you. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, we can.
Yes, we're with you, sir.
We're with you.
There was
yes.
there was a switch off temporarily and it's back now. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
Thank you very much, distinguished panelists. I want to begin by appreciating the moderator, and I want to appreciate the encomiums he has showered on all of us, especially myself. I want to appreciate him because he's a trailblazer who has, over the years, been able to bring about very original in educational training and development issues that will touch not only our own generation, but even the generation yet unborn. I want to appreciate the panel once again because of the short nature of this program. The one thing that came to my mind is a quotation from Hassan al-Banna, who says that give responsibilities to those who are already busy with one responsibility. In other words, to Hassan al-Banna, one of the leaders of the Ikhwan Muslim in Egypt, we do not give responsibility to an idle hand or somebody who is blank, but give it to somebody who is already holding one thing or the other to add to what he is having. And then let's share part of that experience together. I want to congratulate the man we are honoring today, Professor Adamu Abubakar Gwarzo. I have known the Gwarzo family for many, many years as a student and teacher of Islamic studies, and somebody who has had quite a number of interactions and engagements with the Kano city, not only at the Bayero University Kano, but even other institutions where I have had the opportunity of participating in one program or the other with. Therefore, my brother, Professor Adamu Abubakar Gwarzo, reminds me of the forefathers of that family and what they are used to, touching the lives of the common man. Let me begin by saying that this opportunity has given me a kind of lifetime experience of meeting members of the panelists whom have listened to this afternoon and who have shared their experience. The Professor Adamu Abubakar Gwarzo's life, from what I've been able to garner in the last 48 hours, is only showing that there are some individuals who have taken the path of assisting the less privileged in the society and creating a kind of opportunity, even though they may not benefit from that particular opportunity. Professor Adamu Abubakar Gwarzo falls into this category of human being. This is because from his energetic as well as well-articulated plans of life, one could see that Professor Adamu Abubakar Gwarzo has a vision, and he pursues that vision with all the vigors that Almighty Allah has given him. Otherwise, how could somebody be able, within his very short period of life, to emerge and bring about a kind of change that will assist not only his own immediate community, but even the entire world? And I want to take a peep to my own institution, Al-Hikmah University. I'm happy the moderator was able to give an insight, a little one, about the founder of that university, a man who has never seen the four walls of the classrooms, any formal education, but today is the founder and the proprietor of a fast-growing, first-based Islamic university in Nigeria. What I found in Professor Abubakar Gwarzo's pattern of life is that his vision and his mission is to bring about progressive development using the education platform. And I'm happy my own and the other allied institutions which God has made him to have impact on are already on that path. The Maun, which I'm happy to hear that today is the first English-speaking university in the Republic of Niger, and the one that has a bilingual background to bring about students who will not only be useful to their immediate environment, but indeed to the global world. I want to say that this indeed is the reason why this program has been organized, to talk about a man whose passion is to touch the life of others in different ways. The Professor Abubakar Adamu Gwarzo's pattern is also something that is very interesting to me. Here is a man who will give out and assist others without expecting something in return. This is unlike the politicians we know of today. And in doing so, he always tried to follow up whatever he has invested. Follow them up in such a way that, how are they faring? And if I've done this and it has succeeded, how can I do more to even attain more successes? I can see that in Adamu Abubakar Gwarzo's way of life is somebody who monitors whatever he has been able to establish, to see that they are actually moving in the direction of the original concept. I want to say most sincerely here that I know the prof will be surprised with this program, but it is only to tell him and to let him know that while he is doing all that he is doing, like the Quran has told us, when Allah says in the Quran, "I'malu fasayara Allahu a'malakum wal rasul wal mu'minun." Do your best. Continue to do your best. The Almighty God who has created you is watching. The prophet of God is also watching. Then the fellow Muslims, Mu'min, believers, they are also watching. Then the Quran ended that ayah by saying, فَيُنَبِّئُكُم بِمَا كُنتُمْ تَعْمَلُونَ. Very soon, and at the end of the tunnel, you will see that your God will give you reward. My prayer is that the Almighty God should grant this very industrious Nigerian many, many more years of healthy life.
Amen.
And a life that will continue to touch others, so that we'll have him impacting different sectors of life. I want to thank you once again for this wonderful opportunity. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Lateef Oladimeji, for that brilliant intervention. Let me quickly bring to us Dr. Maruf Oladejo, an associate professor of education planning, economics of education, but more importantly, someone that was able to pull together a global community of scholars called HelpNet. And that HelpNet is actually one of those places where we interact, we exchange ideas about transformation, global education, teaching, and above all, mentoring. Associate Professor Oladejo, you have 5 minutes, please. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Professor Hakeem Tijani. I want to, first of all, thank you for inviting me to this epoch-making event. I want to say that by your invitation, I think I'm starting year 2024 on a very good note. On a very good note, because we are here to celebrate a man who has touched lives and who is not tired of touching lives. And I'm happy to be a part of this event. And I want to also congratulate Professor Adamu Abubakar Gwarzo on his 46th year birthday. Like has been said by the moderator, I've never seen this man. And when I was given the invitation, because in my own usual way, every new year, I send message to all my mentors. And in the process, Prof now sent the message to me that you are going to be part of this. We are going to speak on this. And I said, gladly, I accept, no objection. So the title of my own presentation is what we are seeing on the screen: Building World-Class Institutions, the Gwarzo's Midas Touch. And we have been saying a lot of things about this man. And we keep saying good things about him because of what he is doing. But what I have come to realize is the fact that this quote that we are saying sums everything about this man up. Professor Adamu Abubakar Gwarzo said, "My dream in life is to make a difference in the life of others. I believe this can be achieved by providing people with a high quality and sound education. This prompted my thinking of how I can make education accessible and affordable to our teeming youth. And that has been the propelling.
I'm on a...
Am I a bit audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. The propelling factor that has been driving this, our silent achiever. I want to, first of all, talk about what do we mean by world-class institution. Maybe this definition will make us to actually agree that all the institutions that Professor Gwarzo has been involved in are truly world-class institutions or not. When we say an institution is a world-class one, that institution will be the one that is recognized globally for its excellence and quality across various aspects, be it academic programs, be it faculty, be it research, infrastructure, innovation, and overall reputation. Or that institution that stands out among its peers and is considered as one of the best in its field, attracting students, faculty, and partnerships from around the world. So these are the two definitions that I have to describe what a world-class institution is. So, and all of us that were given this assignment, I didn't even thought I would be the only one. But I know, when we give assignment to researchers, they will research. And that is exactly what every one of us that has been given this assignment did. Immediately, I took up the responsibility of coming on board. I started searching. I suspended every other thing. I started searching, who is this man? What about this school they are talking about? And we have said a lot of things about it. But what are the features of any world-class institution? Let us find out if these features are truly, all the institutions that Professor Gwarzo has been involved in, has been the president, has been the founder, whether they have these features or not. And of course, my earlier speakers, they have mentioned almost all, but there is one that I want to really emphasize. But let us go on one by one. Academic excellence. A world-class institution maintains high academic standards, offers rigorous and comprehensive programs. My own has 19 programs, and the standard there is nothing but excellence, as been, attested to by previous speakers. What about research and innovation? A world-class institution prioritizes and supports cutting-edge research and innovation, fostering a culture of curiosity, discovery, and problem solving. Mahon is also known to, possess this feature. What about global perspective? Global perspective in terms of embracing a global outlook and actively engages in international collaborations, exchange programs, and partnerships. When I Googled the site of Mahon, I discovered all this. I discovered that Mahon is truly having global perspective, even though it is located both in Niger and Nigeria. Strong alumni network, robust infrastructure are also features of world-class institutions, of course, including reputation and recognition. And these features are what Mahon truly possesses, whether Mahon of Niger or that of Nigeria. And going by the title of my presentation, the Gwarzo's Midas Touch. What do we mean by Midas Touch? Midas Touch is talking about that ability to be extraordinarily successful and prosperous in any endeavor that an individual has chosen. We can as well say that Midas touch is talking about an individual that has exceptional talent or ability to achieve success effortlessly and consistently in various areas of life. So we could see that Professor Gwarzo is not focusing on education, as has been said by many of us. He has touched lives, humanity in different areas of life, be it health, be it education, be it infrastructure. And that is what actually, motivated me to give this my presentation, the Gwarzo's Midas touch. Now, Mahon was founded in 2013, just 10 years ago. And it is the first English-speaking university in the Republic of Niger, and also the first bilingual university in the Sub-Saharan Africa. This has been said by speakers that have spoken before me, but I am emphasizing this because look at Nigeria, the first university, University of Ibadan, 1948. And this one is now saying that Mahon is the first English speaking in the Republic of Niger. I don't know why Niger actually got independence, but I know it is more than 40 years ago. So if Mahon will now be the first, it means the founder has a vision. He truly has Midas touch. And, it is also the first bilingual university in the Sub-Saharan Africa, not only in Niger this time around. And we have the same Mahon in Nigeria, which was founded in 2022 in the ancient commercial city of Kano State. Now, Professor Tijani has also given us another first-hand, remark, first-hand evidence that when he led a team, NUC team on accreditation to Mahon 2015 or so, he saw what he saw on the website.
2023.
Everything he saw physically, because Mahon is well equipped with state-of-the-art facilities, experienced faculties, ideal and flexible learning environments. It also has robust academic programs, 19. I don't want to start mentioning them. We can Google the website and see what we are talking about. And these academic programs are enriched with real-world working experience, career prospect, multicultural experiences, which is in tandem, with the global best practice. Now, our visits on the website reveals the mission of the university and the vision of this university. The mission is to offer the world well-educated and talented leaders and captains of industries by providing affordable and accessible qualitative education and skills to all generations. That is also talking about the Midas touch that Professor Gwarzo has. In terms of vision, Mahon was established in order to be a world-class university, renowned in teaching, research, and service for global good of mankind. For global good of mankind, not limiting, itself to Africa. Now, the last point is what actually, impressed me. Visit the website of Mahon. Go to the faculty. There is a section for international faculty. I'm talking about academic staff. How many universities in Nigeria can boast of having foreigners in Nigeria as their, employees? Gone are the days. Gone are the days. Any university, especially public, that can boast of having foreigners as academic staff, I stand to be corrected anyway. But when I visited the website, I saw different scholars, international scholars from University of Nottinghamton, from Saudi Arabia, from Qatar, from the United States of America. I read nothing less than 15 of them. I went into their, CV biography, and I Googled them. I saw them that truly they are academics of international repute. So what I'm now talking about is that is my own no longer not a world-class institution. It is. So Professor Adamu Abubakar Gwarzo's Midas touch has touched and still touching many lives. And what we need to say is just to wish him a happy birthday, long life and prosperity. And let me also chip in. I want to be selfish now. I want to be selfish by advising the management to please start Faculty of Education. Okay. Faculty of Education is also very, very important. That is where we build teachers of the future. Thank you very much for this opportunity. I am happy to be part of this effort making. Congratulations to Professor Adamu Abubakar Gwarzo. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Oladejo. Thank you very much for your intervention. I want to thank everyone for participating. I am going to be very fair in terms of minutes allotted to panelists, and I will give additional, not additional, just to correct myself, 2 minutes to Dr. Ifeanyiwa Madu to make a quick additional intervention that is critical to philanthropism and what she wanted to say. You have the floor, ma'am. 2 minutes.
Okay, so having said all, you can see that we are all still saying the same things, about this great man, and the faith still talk the same thing. I just want to say something. What the Bible said specifically about giving. You cannot remove giving from your faith. Our Master Jesus said something in the book of Matthew chapter 25, and I just want to read it. It's very important. Verse 34 says, "Then the king will say to those on the right, 'Come, you who are blessed by my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the creation of the world. For I was hungry, and you fed me. I was thirsty, and you gave me a drink. I was a stranger, and you invited me into your home. I was naked, and you gave me clothing. I was sick, and you cared for me. I was in prison, and you visited me.' Then this righteous ones will reply, 'Lord, when did we ever see you hungry and feed you, or thirsty and gave you something to drink, or a stranger and showed you hospitality, or naked and gave you clothing? When did we ever see you sick or in prison and visit you?' And the king will say, 'I tell you the truth. When you did it to one of the least of these my brothers and sisters, you were doing it to me.'" By way of closing, the King, our God, recognizes every act of love that we show to one another. He's not taking it for granted what Professor Gwarzo is doing. He says, as he's reaching out to the poor, you are doing it to the Lord. So by way of closing, I want to still say congratulations to Professor Gwarzo. Also, congratulations to our prof, Professor Tijani, for seeing, noting, and then choosing to honor a man that has set himself apart from the norm we all know, self, to invest in men and women. And we believe that God also will reward him, not just in this world, but in the hereafter. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ma, for your intervention. Thank you, all the panelists. At this point, I will like, we will have loved to take one or two questions, but there is no need for question in such environment as discussing, except if you want me to entertain. I want to close this by 10, let me see, wow, in 3 minutes, 10:45, but I think we will, yeah, we will not take questions. There's no need. We're celebrating this iconic.
Prof, can I be allowed to make one little comment? Prof?
Yes, I was going to call you.
Okay. Thank you.
Professor Haruna. I was going to call you because you were there when we visited on NUC accreditation in November, and I will ask you. So if you need to speak, just raise up your hand, your virtual hand, and I will call you for 30 seconds, please.
Yeah.
But before I do that, I would like the Vice Chancellor of in fact, it will come at the last minute, but I want the Vice Chancellor of Maryam Abacha University of Nigeria, Kano, to speak, make a comment for a minute. Then those that are raising up their hands in this order will speak for 30 seconds. So sorry. The first would be Professor Haruna, Professor or Dr. Galba, Abdullah Galba. And then after that, those are the two hands that I've seen so far. After that, we will have Professor Abdullahi Sabo Muhammad, the Vice Chancellor and President of Franco-British International University, Kaduna, to speak and give us a celebrant remarks on behalf of the celebrant. Remember, he is not aware, Professor Abubakar Adamu Gwarzo did not know about this until yesterday when I sent him a text message. He was surprised, and I don't think, I've not seen him, but I know that Professor Abdullahi Sabo Muhammad will wrap it up for us by giving us a celebrant, closing remarks on his behalf. If I have Professor Adefemi from Unilag, from UI, that went with me to Mahun Kanu on that accreditation, where we saw, and we were just asking ourselves questions, along with Mrs. Mary Ogochukwu Enojo. Are we in Nigeria? Are we in US or developed country because of what we saw on in Kanu? So if she is here, I will allow her also to speak. So in that order, please. So the Vice Chancellor President, Mahun Kanu.
Hello. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, yeah.
First of all, thanks, Professor Hakeem Tijani, to organize this wonderful webinar. So my question is that, does internationalization lead to better education? Internationalization in education has boomed in the last 30 years. It is a reaction to a different country becoming more and more increasingly connected with each other, and thanks to technology and transportation innovation. Its benefits include molding students who are now more open-minded in accessing knowledge and different cultural learning experience. The United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization has stated that education transforms lives. With internationalization, education not only develops student critical thinking and logical reasoning, but they are also well prepared and well equipped to engage with other people and business from other countries, wherever they may be, and this opens them to more opportunity. Internationalization also allow a foreign student in a new country to settle in much faster, making the education process more seamless and turning learning into a much more enjoyable experience. Thank you.
Thank you very much, President Muhammad Isra of Maryam Abacha University of Nigeria, Kano. Thank you very much for the leadership there and being a very good lieutenant along with VP administration and the rest of them. Professor Aruna, 1 minute, please.
All right. Thank you so much, Professor Tijani. And I'm so much delighted to have this program and to be part of this achievement of our mentor and the founder of Maryam Abacha American University and all other universities within the group. Specifically, I am so, in fact, carried away by the presentations of the resource persons that were invited to make some kind of discussion in respect to the celebrant. I felt it's a very big honor done to us, not only to Professor Gwarzo. Yeah. Hello, am I on?
Yes, sir, you are.
All right. Now, this occasion celebrating the remarkable legacy of Professor Gwarzo, a visionary benefactor and, of course, advocate for world-class education in sub-Saharan Africa. It's, in fact, very timely. Professor Gwarzo's unwavering, like I used to say, his unwavering commitment to internationalization has been a beacon, of course, that illuminates the path towards a future where education transcends beyond the boundaries. Of course, his legacy are enormous, and of course, mirrors to essence, of course, of global collaboration. In fact, my contact with Professor Gwarzo and his program, of course, has given me an edge over what I used to be previously, because I have no doubt have the taste of an international component of academic activities. Of course, he has been able to take us out, take us around to see what is happening so that we can translate such reality to what is presently what is known as Maun, what is obtainable in Maun. So the environment, the fostering environment is trying to establish in all the institutions under Maun group of universities is such that students and scholars will form a diverse background in which exchange of ideas and knowledge can have a global kind of perspectives. So in an era where the world is interconnected, Professor Gwarzo's foresight has laid the foundation for the present sub-Saharan Africa to play a pivotal role in the global educational landscape. And of course, many countries around the sub-region are taking leave from what Gwarzo is doing. So his contributions resonate not only in the infrastructure we see around the university, thank God you have come to the environment to see for yourself, but also in the hearts and minds of the countless individuals. You see a lot of them, in fact, there are too many to mention, whose lives have been transformed from access to world-class education. And that is what Professor Gwarzo is having passion for, world-class education. education across border, that is without border. This is the language he used. So as we celebrate these icons, of course, the benefactor, let us reflect on the enduring impact of his vision for globalizing education, where Nigerians graduates can compete favorably with any other graduates across the world. And that is why, apart from providing this level of enabling environment for students, youngsters to develop, to excel, he also go further to make sure that he places them appropriately where they can showcase the talents they have acquired from this institution, from his project. So Professor Gwarzo's legacy challenges us, not as academics, but also to continue to strive for excellence, where we can foster international collaborations that empower the next generation of youth and to shape a brighter and more interconnected future. And that's why in whatever he does, he tries to link us up to the outside world so that we can see for ourselves and take lead from what is happening, because he feels that he's for him to have been in abroad and have come back with what he has learned abroad, there is also need for youngsters to take such things from him. And that's why Professor Gwarzo is so common to people, very free, very accommodating, very friendly, and also he is a scholarship lover. And you have seen from the presentation of the director of the group. I want to thank you, and let us collectively honor the indelible ink or mark that has been set by Professor Adamu Gwarzo on the landscape of education in the sub-Saharan Africa. I want to say happy birthday to Professor Gwarzo, and I want to thank you for giving us opportunity to showcase what Professor Gwarzo have given to us, and as a way of thanks to him and to Almighty God. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We will try to wrap it up by 11 my time, which will be your, I believe,
Professor Hakeem.
Yeah, I know. Just 1 second. I've seen it, my Gary. I've seen it.
Sorry to disturb you. In our panel, Professor Ahmad Ibrahim Gari.
I've seen his hand up. I'll call him.
University of Sokoto. So he want to add some comments.
Yes, I will call him. Thank you, sir. I saw his hand up, so that is what I wanted to say. That Professor Maigari from University of Sokoto, I believe is the Vice Chancellor. Well,
yes.
Take him, because I think we've exchanged email on this TED phone. I mean, on the TED phone initiative.
So
do me a favor, please. At your end, anyone, I've just sent a message to Professor Abdullahi Sabo Muhammad, the Vice Chancellor of Franco-British International University, that I call, is having difficulty joining us. So kindly send him the link. So Muhammad Abdullahi is raising up his physical hand. It's good that I'm looking around. So I ask you to use the virtual hand. But let's listen to Professor Abdullah Gaba, and then we'll move on to the Vice Chancellor, Professor Ahmed Maigari, and then we will be waiting on either Professor Isun Mola of UI, as well as Professor Abdullahi Sabo, and wrap it up. So kindly limit it to 1 minute. The Vice Chancellor can do 2. Mr. Vice Chancellor Maigari, you go after Garba. Abdullah Garba. Abdullah Garba.
Yes. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can, sir.
Yeah. Thank you very much for organizing this, which is very commendable to my own family and beyond. In fact, I am Dr. Abdullahi Garba. I'm just trying to comment to attest to the fact that all that has been discussed about Professor Adamu Abubakar Gwarzo is just a tip of an iceberg. I'm not trying to accentuate, rather a fact. You know, being that I'm one of the beneficiary of his scholarship right from the MSc level and PhD, where I was made to understand a lot of things about internationalization, because the way a manner PhD is done in Maun is categorized in phases. We have just the normal coursework, which has to do with research methodology, internationalization, philosophy of education. In fact, this internationalization has done a lot of things indeed, because it is one of the uniqueness of Maryam Abacha American University in the PhD. It is a kind of innovation. It is all encompassing. It has covered so many fields indeed, because it touches on the principles of education, curriculum development, and the way and manner things are being simplified in terms of education, in line with the reality so far, because physical the application of knowledge to bring result-oriented activity is being touched there, rather than dwelling on theories that just will be keep in the dustbin or wasted. Research innovations is very much considered during our destiny, which is part of the internationalization. Just as the last speaker said, excellent academy, is it Professor Oladimeji or something of that nature? Yes, or yes. Talk about academic excellence. Yes, we put so much emphasis on this particular rigorous program. Indeed. So it helps a lot. I seriously benefited a lot from him, which is a clear testimony, not just talking about issues like this, but it is someone who has benefited from it. And I'm right now a faculty in his institution. So this is just saying that what Professor Adamu Abubakar Gwarzo is doing cannot be overemphasized. Looking at the fact that we need to explain this so that the entire public will have a compass of what is going on, so that the society at large, so many elites that are coming in to academic activity, will equally do much more than what he is doing to salvage at least the education stance in our country. Professor Adamu Abubakar Gwarzo does not only stop here in Nigeria, but West Africa, Africa, and almost the whole world. Thank you for doing this to me, to other people. Happy birthday to Professor Adamu Abubakar Gwarzo.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Merci beaucoup. Merci beaucoup. By the way, Professor Adamu Abubakar Gwarzo studied French and linguistics, so it is right for us to say merci beaucoup and speak some element of French rather, on this webinar. But we are seriously running out of time. We do not envisage this, and it is just a testimony to the fact that indeed the title, the focus is so timely, that way back in 2015, it was the focus of an inaugural lecture by my very good self. Fast forward 2023, I saw reality of it as an NUC chair at doing accreditation. And then today we are seeing the reality of all this in terms of what I call the biographical pedagogical discourse, where we study men and women that are imparting us for result-oriented policies. I thank you, the last speaker. At this point, I will call on Professor Ahmed Maigari, the Vice Chancellor of, is it Sokoto State University or University of Usman Danfodio? Usman Danfodio.
Northwest University.
For Northwest. Okay. Oh, thank you for Northwest. You see, I was going to read about Northwest. There is something on the chat, but I won't read it anymore. So the Vice Chancellor can speak to that. I saw what they posted, but I didn't know it was the Vice Chancellor. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
1 minute.
Yes, thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to say a word. And I think I'm really delighted to be part of this gathering. And in fact, there is no word that can portray my feelings and aspiration towards this gentleman. Professor Adamu Abubakar Gwarzo is the brain behind establishing our own university, that is Northwest University, Sokoto. So I think we are very much proud to be associated with him, and we are very much happy to have him. We congratulate him as he celebrates his 46th birthday, and we wish to have him more in our academic pursuit. Congratulations, Mr. President. Thank you. May God bless you.
Amen. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. I will not end without saying something that has come to my mind as a result of this webinar, and that is the fact that I am proposing a special edition, and I want Professor Aruna to join me in editing if it is approved. Do we need any approval? No, we don't need approval. It's an academic scholarship. Just like we set this up, we didn't tell the man until yesterday. So I believe we need to do a special edition of, articles looking into internationalization, but with emphasis on that concept that was coined in 2012, tagged biographical pedagogical discourse. I've mentioned not just Professor Gwarzo, I've mentioned the founder of Al-Hikma. We have Afe Babalola, we have Adeleke, we have some of them that are doing, great things. But of all this pack, the youngest and the most iconic, in my opinion, is the celebrant of today, Professor Abubakar Adamu, whom I was really, really marveled. I was wowed, as we say in America. Wow, that means I couldn't believe it. Is this for real? Can it be true? So I have seen. The panelists have also seen through their ethnographic research in the last 48 hours. But more importantly, we have a validation from students, former students, beneficiaries, faculty, Dr. Samia, Haruna, the VP, and the rest of them. So I am putting this challenge to us. And if you are interested to talk about internationalization, global education, please reach out to me, Hakeem.Tijani, Tijani, at morgan.edu, or Prof Oye, Profoye, at gmail.com. If you are in doubt, if you've forgotten, reach out to the VP of the institution, Dr. Awes. He can, give you my info, or you can Google me also. There's someone that I do not want to forget that was using his physical hand, and that will be, thank you very much, my GA, Dr. Tony Ashonibare. That is another third form beneficiary. Open University is proud of you, as we are proud of Baba Sule and the rest of them that are making Nigeria proud on this part of the world. I think that was either doctor or professor Muritala Abdullahi. Could you please 30 seconds? Professor Abdullahi, 30 seconds.
Okay.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
This is in Redmi. Are you the one in Redmi Note 11?
Yes. It's Professor Abdullahi Sabo Muhammad. Okay, sorry.
Is this Professor Abdullahi Sabo?
Muritala Abdullahi.
Okay, Muritala Abdullahi. Okay. Do we have Professor Sabo with us now, Muhammad?
Yes. I'm available, sir.
Oh, that is you.
Admin not 11.
Okay, you are the. Okay, I'm going to change your name to the proper name.
I'm the one on Redmi. Redmi 11.
You are not Redmi. You are Professor. You are not a slave. Those Europeans.
Okay, no problem. I'll unmute myself until when it is time.
Yes, sir. But while you're doing that, I'm going to give you your proper name, because I'm not transporting you through the Atlantic and changing your name. Redmi, Hakeem became Redmi. Abubakar became Jack Smith. No, this is not transatlantic slave trade. So while we're doing that, Dr. Abdullahi or somebody somewhere can please speak. The one raising up his hand the other time for 30 seconds. Professor Abdullahi.
We can't hear you.
Unmute yourself, sir. Well, we cannot hear the gentleman.
Abdullahi, please unmute yourself.
Dr. Murtala Abdullahi, you have to unmute.
Yes, please unmute.
Okay. Do I have Professor Ade Femi Isumola UI on this platform? Since we cannot hear Dr. Abdullahi, let's just go ahead and wrap it up by having Professor Abdullahi Sabo Muhammad, Vice Chancellor.
Hello?
Okay.
Okay.
Go ahead. Go ahead. You have 20 seconds.
Okay, Professor. Thank you very much. My name is Dr. Murtala Haruna Abdullahi, a pioneer faculty member of Maun in Maradi and pioneer faculty member here in Kano. I'm from Gwarzo local government, which means I share the same locality with the celebrant. Permit me to tell you that Gwarzo local government also.
You mute again, and it's giving us a very good intervention.
Dr. Murtala, please unmute yourself. Yes, yes.
Yes, yes.
I can tell you that.
Again. Don't touch again. If I see I'll come to Gwarzo local government.
Yes, I can tell you that from the establishment of Maun in Niger, 1 decade back, we have about 62 students that graduated from the institution from Gwarzo local government. Wow. And out of that, 48 of the students, they have benefited from the scholarship. Wow. 48 out of 62, they have benefited from his scholarship. So it was given and it was shared. And number 2, he has established and built so many primary schools. And some primary school were upgraded to junior secondary school. Some junior secondary school were upgraded to senior secondary school. So that is what I wanted to share with you. Our local government is not left behind and is not left alone. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that aspect of Professor Adamu Abubakar Gwarzo that we do not know. These are testimonies, these are realities of what makes a global interventionist. And we thank you for that information. At this point, permit me to call on Professor Abdullahi Sabo Muhammad, the Vice Chancellor, the pioneer Vice Chancellor. You see, the issue of pioneering, I can feel your pain. I was a pioneer, Deputy Vice Chancellor, pioneer Dean, and this and that. You know, going to the trenches is not easy. But I can also tell you that you will soon be having more gray hair because you have to do a lot. I know that Professor Istra and Dr. Awais can attest to that, just like all the pioneers. So we'd like you to say 1 or 2 words, and then the final intervention will come from the Vice President of Administration, Dr. Awais. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, sir, we can.
Okay. With special gratitude to Professor Hakeem Tijani, I'm glad to be part of this webinar. On the program, my role is to give vote of thanks on behalf of the founder and President General of my own group of universities. Can I be able to do that? I think he will have been in a better position to do that. But since I've been assigned in view of his absence, I will try my possible best. First and foremost, we are short of words to the convener and organizer of this epic-making event in person of Professor Hakeem Tijani. In fact, you are a brother to us for organizing this short webinar to celebrate our icon. My special thanks goes to the various panelists and discussants for a very short notice, able to Google and be able to make a presentation, especially the last presenter. In fact, Professor Gwarzo's Madia's touch cut across boundaries. We are short of word for him, and we are always eager to celebrate whatever thing he's able to do. To the various well-wishers, lovers of Maryam Abacha,
continue, sir. Go ahead. We mute the person interrupting. Oh, unmute yourself, Professor
Sabo,
Sabo.
please unmute yourself.
Okay, okay. Cut across boundaries. Like you all know, Maryam Abacha philosophy cut across boundary. When he is talking about internationalization and globalization, he wants it to be practically demonstrated. Just like you are aware, last month, he sponsored 12 of us to Islamic University in Uganda to attend their 32 convocation ceremony. That is unprecedented. We went there, we learned a lot of things, and which we are trying to bring back and implant in the various universities which he had established. On the final note, since time is not on our side, I will suggest that through your collaboration, sir, Professor Gwarzo has just celebrated his 46th anniversary. In the next 4 years, if we are still alive, inshallah.
We will be, inshallah.
He will be 50 years. And I would suggest through the Ahiri, where Professor Sadiq is championing, we should be thinking of an international conference to celebrate the various facets of Professor Abubakar Adamu Gwarzo. We can have thematic areas, health component, education component, accessibility, and so on and so forth. He's a man who is thinking and planning and philosophizing that he wants to educate 1 million people. That's a very, very big task. And I think we, under his tutelage, can assist in that direction, including your good mentoring and leadership. On that note, I want to thank all those that have spared their time to listen and contributed towards making this low-key 46 years anniversary of the founder. We normally call him the founder because he's always founding. I'm sure by the time he comes back now, he will come with a different idea again for us to be able to implement. We wish him Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sound health, good protection, direction, guidance, and service to himself and humanity at large. Thank you so much, Professor, for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I think we can clap for all of us. We have a live stream on Facebook, on YouTube, and then we have this webinar that all of us are part of. Dr. Awais?
Yes, Prof. Okay, Prof. I thought when the DC has spoken, he has already relayed the.
It is not, panel. Unfortunately, it is not a university event.
Okay.
That is why some of the protocol is on protocol.
It's on protocol. Yes, Prof. So, Prof,
I understand the protocol as a former deputy vice chancellor, but this is not. Okay. So I just want to give that opportunity. And he has charged us about the 50th anniversary.
Yes.
I have also charged us about a special edition, a journal edition. I know you have several in-house.
Yes.
I've also said those who are interested from your perspective.
Okay.
You are not necessarily writing about Professor Gwarzo in that article, but you can make a kind of link, I call it marrying well. You could look at it from your perspective in Lesotho. We have folks that join us from University of Lesotho, Professor Atta. I'm using this opportunity to thank him. He was one of the first to join. and Dr. Agbono from Federal University Education. And I know she must have been thrilled listening to Professor Ganiat talking about entrepreneur, because that was our doctoral research at Morgan 2 years ago when she was with us.
Okay.
Dr. Ladejo, and more importantly, the Vice Chancellor President, Mohammed Isra, was one of the first to join, just like Dr. Samir Azan. He charged me. The first thing he asked me was, "What about our MOU?" And I'll send something to your email again to remind him. I want to thank him for that, and I promised him after this webinar I will go back. I also told him that, in fact, 2 days ago, Dr. Awais reminded me with a test while I was still sleeping. I said, "What happened to our MOU?" I said, "Well, I now explain the process here." You see, I'm wearing 2 caps: Morgan Open University, National Open University of Nigeria, and of course, still in touch, with my base, which is Nigeria. I thank you so much. So I'll let you say a final words, and then we.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much, Prof. We really appreciate your idea of coming up with this surprise package for us to honor our iconic figure in just to celebrate him in this manner. It's really very, very well thought of. I remember you just contacted me day before yesterday after you have come up with an idea, and then, wow, you said it has to be done. So we thank God that it has materialized. This is part of your initiative, and we really appreciate. I remember we have an existing MOU, just like you have mentioned, which I think on several occasions during our discussion, we have dwelled on issues of this internationalization, which you always said your door is open for further collaboration, and we should be linked up with several other productive programs that will benefit the 4 Maun institutions. So we really appreciate you for being at the center of, bringing on this development, because of your passion and your appreciation to what Professor Gwarzo is doing. On our part, we have said it in different way, how much he has been able to achieve this concept of internationalization, how much he has been able to lift Nigeria, Africa, and the world at large in terms of, helping people to become educated. And I think his vision of educating 1 million people is not far from being reached. It's not far from being actualized when you look at the universities he has established, the scholarship he has been offering. And I have no doubt in my mind, this vision, by the grace of God, will be actualized. So we are hoping to see more Africans, more Nigerians emulating his style, coming off to complement government effort. And this way we can be able to achieve, a society where there are a lot of people who are educated. So we really appreciate you.
Thank you, sir.
We
Thank you
we'll
very
be looking
much.
forward to that. Yes, yeah.
Yes. I want all of us to unmute and let's just sing happy birthday to this iconic scholar, mentor, benefactor, philanthropist. Then while we're doing that, of course, we can 1, 2, go.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Professor Adamu.
Happy birthday, Professor Gwarzo. Happy birthday to you.
We wish you many happy returns.
Many happy returns. Many happy returns. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, all. Merci beaucoup. Merci beaucoup.
Merci.
Merci.